Hello, it's Carla here, and today I'm showing you a project that I made for my daughter's friend's birthday. And she's 7 and her little friend Colby was turning 7, and so we wanted to create a customized gift for him using the Cricut Maker. So right now we're using a pillow pattern, and this is in Designs Space. It's a little baseball pillow, and you can find it if you search that. And we are cutting out some fleece with just white fleece and the rotary blade in the Cricut Maker. So this is pretty simple. It's 2 circles cut on the fabric cutting mat. The rotary blade cuts it so nicely. It's amazing to cut fabric on this. So now we're just being careful not to touch the pink mat because you want it to last as long as possible. So you just don't want to get your fingerprints on there. And I'm just gently pulling up the fleece, and I was worried about it leaving threads and stuff behind, but it didn't seem to leave any residue. So after we got that all pulled up, we're changing our blade back to the regular blade, cutting blade, and we're going to cut some everyday iron-on. And we have the pattern here, which is in Design Space with the pillow to make the little baseball lines on the baseball. So I'm just following the directions. I'm mirroring the image so that we can iron it on properly, and I'm making sure that the shiny side is face down on the mat. And I'm just using a regular mat. I'm cutting, and I chose the iron-on, everyday iron-on choice from Design Space, and really it leads you through all those choices very easily. So you can see there's a picture of the pillow, and then we can scroll down. It tells us the instructions, and it gives us all the supplies that we need. So I'm cutting off a little bit of the extra iron-on that I knew I didn't need. I probably could have cut a little bit extra, but this was the first project that I'm making, so I'm kind of just learning as I go, and that's okay. We pulled off all the extra iron-on and weeded it properly, and so we have our piece to iron directly on our fleece. So I'm laying the fleece circle down. I'm setting my iron to not have any steam on, and I put it on high. So I'm preheating the fabric as directed, and the Cricut website is really great for having instructions. So if you're using an iron or you're using an easy press, all the instructions are there. And after I preheated, I laid down the iron-on. I have a little cloth there to protect the fabric in the iron-on, and then I'm turning it over and I'm ironing the back. And what I've kind of learned since then is that I hold it on and give it a little bit of pressure more so than moving it around. But I just kept heating the back and the front here until I felt like it was fully stuck. If I went to pull up the liner there and it felt like it wasn't completely stuck, I just placed it back on and pressed it again with my iron. So it did take a little bit longer than the directions on the website, but that could be because I was moving the iron around. But it did stick on nicely when it was finally stuck on. So I'm just using my sewing machine, and I'm stitching with the recommended seam allowance. And I have a helper here who's helping me turn it inside out. It would have been helpful if we actually made some notches in that circle, but my daughter was in a bit of a hurry, and I just decided that that was okay to not go back and do that. So we're just using some polyfill stuffing. We stuffed the pillow as much as we wanted it to be stuffed. You could definitely stuff it more if you decided you wanted to. and I started stitching and decided I would put a few pins in just to keep it pinned nice and closed so I could finish stitching it with a needle and thread. And I'm just doing a whip stitch in that opening. You want to leave probably a 2-inch opening, and that was the pillow completed. Now we're doing a little baseball shirt to coordinate with the pillow, and this is just a blue shirt from Michael's from their selection in their store. It's a youth medium, and we're ironing on the name and the number, and number 7 is just because he's turning 7. So again, I'm kind of moving the iron around, but a few shirts later I've realized that it's better to hold it in one spot and press for a little bit more so than move the iron around. But I think it's good to just, begin and start, and you will learn some tips and tricks along the way about what works. And you can see I'm pulling it and just feeling like it needs to be stuck down a tiny bit more, so I just keep ironing it. It's not a big deal, and once it's fully stuck, you're going to be able to pull that off quite easily. So also I kind of realized that letting it just slightly cool, I seem to get a better result pulling off that liner than doing it while it's hot. But I think it's whatever works for you. Now we're laying over the top dark blue piece for the 7 to layer on, and because this is already warm, it did actually iron quicker, but I've obviously sped this up. So there's a look at the pillow and the coordinating t-shirt, and Colby loved his gift. We loved that it was personalized, and my daughter loved that she could help out. So thanks so much for stopping by. You can check out the blog link below and have an awesome day.